A few months ago I finally did it. I moved out of the city and bought a small house in a quiet neighborhood about 40 minutes outside of town. After years of dealing with noisy neighbors and break-ins in my old apartment building, I wanted something peaceful. The house was perfect, modest 2-bedroom, decent yard, and best of all, no immediate neighbors on one side because it backed up to some woods. The first thing I did after signing the papers was install a solid security system. For cameras, front door, backyard, garage, and one inside the living room that covers most of the main floor. I went a little overboard with the motion detection and night vision, but after everything I'd been through in the city, I wanted to actually feel safe, for once. For the first couple of weeks, everything was perfect. The cameras gave me peace of mind. I'd check the footage sometimes, just to see deer walking through the yard at night. It was, almost, relaxing. Then one Thursday morning I noticed something strange. I was at work scrolling through the overnight footage on my phone, like I usually do. Most of it was normal, nothing moving, except some branches in the wind. But at 2:47 a.m., the living room camera picked up motion. The timestamp showed the room was completely dark, except for the small glow from my router. I expected to see nothing, or maybe my cat walking across the floor. Instead, I saw what looked like a person standing near the hallway. I zoomed in. My stomach dropped. It was me, or at least it looked exactly like me, same height, same messy hair, same gray t-shirt I wear to bed. The figure was just standing there, facing the camera. Then it slowly turned its head and looked directly into the lens. I felt my skin crawl, because at that exact moment I was asleep in my bed, 2 rooms away. I watched the clip 4 times. The figure stood completely still for almost 30 seconds, then walked down the hallway toward my bedroom and disappeared out of frame. I told myself it had to be a glitch, maybe a weird reflection or the night vision acting up. I even checked the camera angle and settings that night. Everything looked normal. I slept with the lights on anyway. 3 nights later, it happened again. This time the footage showed the figure walking from the kitchen into the living room at 3:12 a.m. It moved exactly like me, same slight limp in my right leg from an old injury. It stopped at the couch, picked up the remote, and set it back down. Then it turned and stared at the camera again. This time it felt like it was looking at me through the phone screen while I was watching at work. I paused the video and just sat there in my car on lunch break, heart pounding. I started checking the footage every single morning. Most nights nothing happened. But every few days the other me would appear. Sometimes it would just stand in the living room. Other times it would walk around opening drawers and closing them. Once it sat down at my kitchen table and just stared at the wall for 20 minutes. It never touched anything important, never made a mess. It was like it was, learning the house. Learning me. I started getting paranoid. I'd come home from work and check every room, every closet. Nothing was ever out of place. My cat acted completely normal, which made it worse somehow. If there was something in the house, she should have been losing her mind, right? Then came the night that broke me. I was lying in bed around 1:30 a.m. when I got a motion notification. I opened the app and watched live footage for the first time. The figure, the thing that looked exactly like me, was standing at the foot of my bed. I was literally watching it watch me sleep. It tilted its head slightly, the same way I'd do when I'm thinking. Then it slowly raised its hand and waved at the camera, not a normal wave. A slow, deliberate wave, like it knew I was watching. I screamed. I actually screamed, in my own bedroom. I turned on every light in the house, and grabbed the baseball bat I keep under the bed. The figure was gone by the time I got to the living room. The camera showed it walking calmly down the hallway, and vanishing right before I came running in. That was the moment I stopped pretending it was a glitch. I moved out 2 days later. I told the realtor it was a work thing, and I needed to sell fast. While packing, I reviewed months of footage. The figure had been there at least 27 different nights. Sometimes it would stand outside my bedroom door for hours. Other times, it would sit in my chair and just watch TV static. The worst part? On a few clips, you can see it mouthing words. I can't make out what it's saying, but it looks like it's practicing my voice. I still have the footage saved. I watch it sometimes, when I can't sleep in my new apartment, back in the city. I keep telling myself, it was some kind of elaborate prank, or a hacker messing with the cameras. But, deep down, I know that's not true. Because the last clip I have, the one from the night before I moved out, shows the figure standing in my living room, holding my phone, looking directly at the camera, smiling. I still wake up some nights, thinking I hear footsteps in the hallway. I check my new cameras obsessively. So far, nothing. But, every once in a while, I catch a reflection in a window, or a mirror, that seems to move half a second after I do. If you ever install security cameras in your house, do yourself a favor, make sure you're the only person on the footage. Because, sometimes, the thing watching you, is you. Drove straight to the police station in the village. When I explained what happened, the officers looked at each other, with an expression I'll never forget. They told me they would investigate immediately. 2 hours later, I got a call from the lead officer. They had searched the cabin with Hans. The oak door was still bolted from the outside. When they opened it, they found a small, cramped room with nothing but a dirty mattress on the floor, and dozens of Polaroid photos pinned to the walls. Every single photo was of me. Some were taken while I was unloading my car, some were of me sitting by the fire, and several were taken through the bedroom door while I was sleeping. They never found the man. Hans claimed he had no idea anyone was living in the room, but the police found a small crawlspace that led from the basement of the cabin directly into the locked room. Whoever he was, he had been living in the bones of that house for weeks, maybe months. He knew my schedule, he knew when I was vulnerable, and he had been watching me sleep every night I was there. I never went back to the Alps. To this day, I still can't stand the sound of wind whistling through the trees. It's the not knowing that haunts me most. I don't know who he was, and I don't know what he was planning to do with those photos. But most of all, I don't know if he followed me back to London. Sometimes, late at night, I think I hear the floorboards in my apartment creak, and I wonder if he's still watching.